So today is Songkran, 13 April is always the Songkran festival, and Songkran comes back from a Sanskrit word, and it means transformation or change. Basically it's the new year here in Thailand, and it's celebrated with lots of water throwing in all the streets. You certainly get wet if you go into town now. And so every culture has this idea about new beginning, of change, of transformation. But transformation of what? In what direction? Where? How to? So it's very deep question, but really nobody goes, or few people go a little deeper and asking, what do I want? Where do I want to go? And then I think it's fair to say most people come up with some goal, moving away from the stress, the tension, the difficulties, the problems, and so really I come back to this again and again because it's something that really makes my life tick since at least the last 13 years, since I had this accident in Egypt where my wife died, and I came out of it as a transformed person. And the first things I wrote actually are the same direction that I have now. It's about understanding that contradiction, accepting contradiction, and not trying to get them out of your life, is the essence of really ultimate transformation. Because some people think, well, if you get more evolved, you have less stress. So you're like the Buddha, the laughing Buddha that laughs about everything and just is above everything. And it's one, I know, it's one tiny part of it, but the stress doesn't go. Just like Buddha died of food poisoning, probably not in a happy, lucky state, just like Jesus died on the cross in lots of pains, or lots of contradictions, lots of stress. But what is changing? What is changing? And so the common approach, like here is in the New Age, is mindfulness. What means mindfulness? It means, and it's really a difficult question to answer, because some people say it means becoming an observer. So not being attached, not being always moved by things, in making you sad, making you angry. And then look at the people who are in monasteries for a long time. They try to get away from all the stress, from having to pay bills, from having to take care of employees, or like here now I'm renting this my house. I would not need to do it, but it's very interesting experience to always have different people coming, and also creates a lot of stress, because some people they want this, some people want that, the others. I always give, for example, the whole bar is free, you know, all what you see here, beer and vodka and champagne, everything is free. It's included in the rental. So you could say, well, people will be super happy with this. No, some people, they say, well, we have only this type of beer. We are not drinking this type of beer. So, and then some people, they drink 5 bottles in 5 days. And the other ones I had just last week, they drink more than 300 bottles in 1 week. So why would I do this? And usually nobody does this. Why? Because they don't want to have stress. They want to have rules that people cannot break, that you in the end feel you have not been taken advantage of. So all our lives are like this. The rules are there to reduce the amount of stress you can possibly have. And then you have some insurance on top of it, so you have less stress. And I'm saying this is the way in the wrong direction. You know? Actually, also on a business point of view, you can say sometimes I'm maybe not making not much profit because people really drink 600 bottles as this happened in the last 3 days. But in the end, being open, being allowing for stress and contradictions and tensions, you make profit. For sure on a psychological, spiritual level, but also, I can say, on a business level. People who take risk, who go into challenging situations, they usually are the ones who win. And people who are often great business leaders, on the side they do competitive sports, so they add another level of stress. So that's one side. And then on the other side, New Age says, remove yourself, be mindful. First of all, mindful is a very, very strange word, because when you become the observer, you don't want the mind to be the observer, because then just one part of your machine would observe another part of the machine. Like a computer making a program to observe itself. That's what happens in many cases, that the mind observes what you're doing, and this is not, for sure not what is meant with mindfulness. It's about awareness, detachment, quieting the mind. And I know this is good. And sometimes it's good. It's wonderful to take some step back and enjoy the distance. But if you think that's the ultimate goal and the only goal in life, then you miss most of it. And when you see people doing this for years in a monastery, and or even in some cases they went into caves, closed the cave, went in the forest. And Buddha also did this for some time, but then he came back and said, no, it doesn't work. The asceticism doesn't work. We need the middle way. And the middle way is not really the average, being average or being just gray. No, it means to middle, to use what is there, what is in your life. So to use it, this is the key. This is the key that determines the happiness, the success. It certainly does not necessarily make things a lot easier. But when there's stress and you remember in what direction you want to use it, it goes, this is energy. Yes, difference is energy. Energy is difference. So if things that work out different than you want, actually it's energy, it's potential energy. And when you at that moment have the idea what do you use it for, it goes into this direction. And this has always been the central practice in all religions. Like when you have some big shock or small shock and you are a Christian, you remember Jesus, and you, at best, you are even grateful to God. Maybe something bad happens, terrible thing happens, you think about, at least think about Jesus, you think about God, and even best you are grateful to it. And then what happens, the energy goes to this connection, goes to this strengthens your relationship with the divine. When something happens, some people say, Jesus. Okay, it's a beginning, but the next step would be to really feel Jesus, think about Jesus. And the Jesuits had a big, this word they called the spiritual exercises, how to relive the suffering of Jesus, to bring it to all the moments of their own suffering. And by this way, exactly do the same thing. A contradiction, a tension, a problem, a pain, bringing this energy to where you want it to go. So that's really about new beginnings, and like today's song run about transformation. When there is stress, understand first it's energy. Don't want it to go away. However, if you direct it with a wish where the energy should go, the pain will be as short as possible. The tension will be as short as possible. But if you get good in this, you will get more situations like this. I mean, I'm here, you can say, in paradise. Look at this. Here. A wonderful villa where I can stay every day in another room if it's not rented. Beautiful view. Everyday sunshine, almost everyday sunshine. And still, I can tell you, my days are full with energy. But the energy most people would rather not want to have. All kind of little things, more and more, almost on an hourly basis. So, but I know it works. It works by having an aim. And this is also part of every new beginning, of every new year that you make, understand what you want. But this should not happen only once on the new year. It should be brought in every moment. So have not one thing, because usually we want more than one thing. Have 5, 6 things, and whenever something gets into your way, bring those 5 or 6 thoughts, best as a vision, as a picture, as a hieroglyph, to the moment, and it goes there. It's so simple, yes, but when we meditate and things are quiet, nothing happens, nothing disturbs us, it's nice, but there is also not much energy. The energy is there when you're in the traffic jam, when somebody shouts at you, when you lose some money, when you have an accident, when you have some physical pain, then there's energy. And then use it by directing it with your mind. And that's the purpose of the mind. The mind is not a mistake. It's not just there to disturb you. It's the guiding principle. It's the control factor. It's the laser that directs where your energy goes. And shutting it off, okay, you can do it sometimes, but usually we shut it off when there's pain, when there is the energy that needs to be directed, and then we just act wildly, unconsciously, reactively, and the mind is paralyzed. It has to be the other way around. Or actually, forget about the monkey mind. Sometimes it's fine, it's okay, especially when there's not much energy, when it's idling, no problem. But when there is stress, then bring your ideas of what you want to this moment, and then you make a profit. And this can be a new year, a new beginning, a transformation every day, and especially when there's energy. And energy is there when there is tension. And then at some point you will understand tension is is not a mistake. It's not something you get out of your way to run away from this meditation or relaxation or stress release. It's the most sacred part, the most valuable part of our life. So much from Songkran. I'll talk more about this for sure.